Hi everyone, we're the Hills. My name's Ryan, this is Elena. We are parishioners at St. Mike's and we are involved in youth ministry together. I'm also involved in the men's shelter.
I am a part of the women's ministry team, and then together we both have been active members of a small group for the last few years. Ryan and I got married here at St. Mike's in the spring of 2018. We were relatively new to the community at that point, but we're excited to become a part of the parish. And so when we first came to St. Mike's, one of the things we noticed was how young and alive the parish is, and that also fit in great with our plans as far as our futures together and as a family. And so we always knew that we wanted to have a family, and I think that with that came sort of a naive belief that that would happen with our plans and our timing. We're both pretty type A personalities, and so things in our past tend to be, if we set a goal, we work towards that goal, and then it happens and all goes well. So we started trying to get pregnant in the fall of 2019, and by that following spring we were recognizing that it wasn't happening quite as fast as we expected it would. And so that also happened to be right around the time that the COVID pandemic was starting, and so with that came challenges as far as working with my doctor to kind of figure out if there were any things we were missing, or like any additional labs or tests that we needed to identify to kind of help us through that process.
So in this weekend's gospel, the Transfiguration occurs, and the glory of God is just shown with the gleaming and the dazzling and all the just wonderful that Jesus Christ actually is to the apostles, and foreshadowing to us as well. We see Peter, who is very like Elena and I, who is very type A, and he just continues to plan, and he wants to build 3 tents. He wants to build the tents for Elijah, he wants to build them for Moses, he wants to build them for Jesus, and then all of a sudden his type A personality is just told to put on hold, kind of, and he gets kind of just like rushed into this big cloud, and all of a sudden he's afraid and scared, and everything is just kind of in pause for him.
And during this time, we both kind of found ourselves in this like hurry up and wait mentality, where we wanted a family, and we wanted a family right now, but everything was just moving slow. So by the summer of 2020, we were introduced to NAPRO technology, and a different method of fertility charting than we had been using, but that allowed us to kind of dig deeper to figure out maybe some root issues that were going on that may be barriers to helping us get pregnant. And so we were very grateful for the people that were introduced into our lives and the medical professionals that kind of helped us dig into that a little bit more. But with that, we also had some pretty real fears as far as whether or not like our dreams and our how we hoped and wanted our family to look in the future may not happen in the way that we wanted it to. And so with that came a huge level of vulnerability, kind of starting to share our story with others in hopes to just have prayers and support going forward. And it was in that time that we realized how many people we knew and how common it was for lots of couples to struggle with infertility and pregnancy, but the fear was there the whole time.
So we were afraid. We were very afraid that just our plans and our like want and yearn to be parents would not be met. We really just didn't wait well, I don't think. We were very impatient. We were just had kind of like a spiritual drought at points, and we just constantly were asking God why, and we ended up growing in our faith there, but we just were very stuck in the cloud, and we were very, very much like Peter, and just afraid, and fear just kind of like took us over.
And in many Catholic communities, we found ourselves surrounded by friends and family members who were sharing pregnancy news and having babies and all the things that we were really excited for them about. But with that kind of came sort of a raw joy. Just obviously the blessing that, new life is to any community, but that feeling of kind of failure, I guess, on our part, which in hindsight is very much the work of the devil. Just that feeling that like that maybe something, for whatever reason, it wasn't going to our plan, but just those moments where we had opportunities to share with others in their joy, but also recognizing that pain that would follow for days or weeks as we kind of wondered why we were being asked to wait, and just that unanswered prayer that we weren't getting. There were many times where I found myself, sharing with someone in their pregnancy news and saying how excited I was that, their babies and my future babies would be friends someday in the future, but that also was, in some extent, a coping mechanism to the pain that I was feeling in those moments too.
So we were yearning for a child. We were afraid that it wasn't going to happen. We were afraid that we weren't fulfilling our marriage vows because we were not being fruitful and multiplying. We just were stuck. And it turns out that being in the cloud sometimes is exactly where God wants you to be. God worked through us. And I suck at this part. God was working in our lives to build our faith, to strengthen us for just something more beautiful that was going to happen.
And so with that, we are beyond grateful and excited to share that we are pregnant and due in June. Knowing that period of waiting was an opportunity for the Lord to work in our hearts and to help us grow into the people that we need to be now and in the future, we're so grateful for the fact that we had to wait that long. In the last few months, every heartbeat check, every ultrasound, every tiny little baby kick has been such an answered prayer, and we're grateful for that. But also seeing that even though our prayer has been answered, the fear and the vulnerability that comes with that is still very much there. Even when we first found out we were pregnant, I struggled to know when the time was right to start sharing with people, because I had that fear of, what if something goes wrong? And then again, that's a way that maybe I've failed, as a woman. And so the work that the Lord has done in our hearts is still going. He's still working. And so we are grateful for this opportunity, and we're also grateful to share our experience and to know that this child is going to just be a way to continue to kind of share the love of God and the glory of God in the future.
So in the Transfiguration this week, Jesus appears to the apostles to just appear in the God's glory of gleaming and dazzling and all the splendor that is Jesus Christ. That was preparing them for his passion. That was preparing them for everything that they would be afraid of, not just only in the cloud, but later on. So sometimes God may be telling us to wait, even in these very dark, cloudy moments. And I pray that all of you could know that waiting might be the best thing that God wants us to do, because God's plan is infinitely better than anything that we can plan by ourselves.